Hi, Severance fans. Welcome to Tori Talks with Dr. S. I'm Tori. This is Dr. S. Today, we are going to discuss Severance Season 2, Episode 1. Finally, almost 3 years later.
I know.
Worth the wait, though. This episode is called Hello, Miss Coble, which was written on Mr. Milchick's screen, which is so frustrating when you take over for somebody and their name's still on there.
I
Like,
know.
come on.
How awkward.
Yes. Okay, well, guys, to quote Mr. Milchick, it's been a minute, right? Okay, so we did get the early release of 8 minutes of this, the first 8 minutes of this, so we knew it was going to happen, but let's just talk about it again. So it's Mark running through what is seemingly endless halls, right? And then he stops at Wellness, which is just not there.
Isn't it odd, though, that it's not there, but there's the traces?
Yeah.
Like, why leave just a little bit of the sign? Like, you could still see the sign.
Yes.
Yeah, right? Like, why not redo the whole thing? It's almost like, I swear he's the experiment. They're like
I have a theory about
messing
that
with
as well.
him, right? Okay.
Yes, I agree with you completely. But yeah, so his main mission is to get to macro data refinement. He's got to talk to his people. But there's new people, and they're a quirky little bunch, as you would expect. And then there's Mr. Milchick with the blue balloons, and he's like, let me catch you up, right? So he tells him this is 5 months after the fact. First of all, I didn't want to believe Mr. Milchick. Like, is it really 5 months?
We don't know, right?
It's just so hard to know. We don't know what they're doing.
We don't know. And from Mark, my brain still has to work extra hard to understand this show.
Yes.
So basically, Mark S., he left one day and then is just back.
Yeah. They did the whole, I'm out,
Yeah.
and now I'm back.
And now I'm back.
So it was not 5 months to him.
No, it was like,
The innie Mark.
it's crazy.
Right.
Right.
So in this little, he's like, oh, you guys are kind of like, have international fame, and you're the voice of reform, and blah, 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 all this stuff. He says one little thing about, we must be cut to heal. Now, this is why, what you were saying, like, is Lumen intentionally designed to make them suffer? As like a part, like a social experiment, a psychological experiment. You know what I mean? So I am right there with you. Now I'm starting to think like, I don't know if it's about control or if it's about, well, I don't know. This is control.
Right. It is. Especially, I just feel like he's central. Like, I feel like there are many severed people, but I feel like he is very important.
Like he's the main
Like,
character.
there's extra experimentation going on with him. Like, he was chosen for a reason.
Because Miss Colville was next door to him.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, unless we just only see him and everyone else has their own version of a Miss Colville,
Right.
like, watching them. But I just feel like she's special.
Right.
But she was the one, like, she's their boss, right? So,
of the four.
Right,
She's
yeah.
next door to him.
so he has some special, like, thing. And he was chosen for a reason, you know?
Yeah. So
like,
maybe it's more about Mark than just
I
all
think
these people.
So. I feel
Yeah.
like it has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because even like the fact that he lost his wife died, I have suspicions about that too. Because
Absolutely.
obviously she's not dead.
Right.
But like, how did they abduct her at some point, or was she in it all
Did
along?
she volunteer?
Yeah. Maybe she's on Team Lumen. Because what happens to
Profound.
Miss Casey when she gets turned off or goes
Yeah.
back to the testing room?
Yeah.
Does she just go and like in a coma? Like, no, I bet she's like some big higher up in Lumen or something. Imagine. I
Maybe
have
she
no
wasn't
idea.
happy with her life with Mark outside. And she's like, I gotta go. I don't want to be. I don't know.
I don't know either. Because we know nothing about her. We just know that he loved her and she's dead.
That's it. He had to quit his job as a professor to be severed.
Yeah.
Because he just couldn't deal with it. Okay, yeah, all right. Well, there's a new Mr. Milchick by way of a child named Miss Huang. So, by the way, this actress, she's 18. But still, she's supposed to be a child of some sort.
She looks like a child.
Yes. So they do their little team building exercise of she rolls the ball, she talks, you know, they all kind of introduce themselves. And you can see Mark is so performative when he introduces himself. He goes from this to like, hi, I'm Mark. It's just, he just kind of turns it on. And I'm like, oh man, he's back to his old ways. So let's just talk about the new people. Gwendolyn is just a very curious, eager person. Like, what's it like? What was it like out there, right? And then Mark W., because of course, let's have another Mark in there.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, he's just very serious. And then the Dario guy is just concerned about ink for his pen. So, you know, priorities, guys. What is so funny is, so Gwendolyn and Mark W., they came from the Perpetuity Wing that's like, their Egans were like animatronics. Like, you know,
So
think
from
Chuck E.
like
Cheese.
a different department in Lumen, now they're working in this department.
Yes. And Dario, his department, Egan's were brooms, if I'm following this correctly, and you didn't have an elevator, you had a rope.
Oh.
Sounds horrible. So now I'm like, wait a minute, did they have to move them to another department because less people want to be severed? And they've got to like cut, make cuts, budget cuts? I don't know.
Were they from a different department or a whole nother office? Because didn't we see like the whole world and there's like a bunch of lumens all over?
Right.
So I wasn't sure if they were like from that location or from like a further away one.
Yeah.
Transfers.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But either way, I want my old people back.
Yeah,
At this point, I'm watching them like, you guys are fine, you guys are funny, but I need the core group back.
Right.
Okay. So Mark is so funny when he writes the note, Mr. Milkshake, like definitely trying to be Mark W's Audi. And that right? So he's like, oh, weird. Like, I love the way he performed that. That scene was so funny. Juvenile. But it did kind of like create a diversion for him because he wants his old team back, right?
Yeah.
So then he's like, oh, you should see what I did to the kitchen. Anyway, he runs, he's acting rebellious, he's trying to speak to the board, he's saying like, you can't make my friends disappear. Mr. Milchek comes in, cuts it off, right?
Right.
So he's like, obviously Mr. Milchek's like, okay, he's gonna be crazy like Helly was.
Like the whole time he's not gonna let up. So I thought he was actually kicking him out for real.
I thought he was kicking him out too.
Yeah.
But he sends him down the elevator. But when he comes back up, our friends start arriving. We get Dylan. Which
is amazing.
Irv, and we get Helly. Because I was really confused where he sent him.
Right.
I thought he sent it to another department, but I think he just sent him down. His Audi went home. He came back.
It was a whole nother day.
Yes.
Right.
Right. I think that's, maybe it was obvious, but at first it was not.
But how do they all come back at the same time?
Yeah. How do we get them to come back at the same time? And how long was it?
Right? And there was also that painting that I don't remember ever seeing before.
No, they're always threatening.
Yeah.
Like their heads were sticking out.
Yeah.
They're very disturbing pictures.
Was that the four of them?
That's what I was thinking.
Right? So so I was like, oh, it's a whole nother part, but then they all show up. And they all act like it just happened.
Right. It could have been a lot.
So we don't know actually from when Milchek set him down and he was gone, he really was sent outside. But then he comes back within minutes of the others. So kind of like how they enter in staggered shifts typically.
Yes. It could have been way later.
We don't know how long.
Because
how much
to get
time.
them all on board to come back.
Right. Like what are the chances they would come back at that time?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
Another
know.
layer.
Yeah.
Always the layers. There's so many layers. Okay. Well, they are all back. So Mr. Milchek's like, well, first of all, the reunion. Can we just talk about it? Like, you guys, we've been waiting forever for this. So I got super excited. Like, I got really enthusiastic at that point when we had our core group back together again. And they all look exactly the same.
Yes.
The fact that it's like almost 3 years later and these actors, like, I don't know, whoever does their makeup and hair and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Stellar. Perfect. It's like no time has passed at all. Okay, so they have to go to the break room and we're all like, wait, break room?
Oh,
no.
I was so nervous.
I know. What do you mean?
And also all together, because usually it's like a one person at a time torture experience.
Yes. And they go to the break room. Well, Miss Huang escorts them there, and I love the little glances. She's not scared of them. No. She's a child, and she's like, okay. And Mr. Milchek is waiting for them, and he shows them a video by Lumen, which insists Lumen is listening. I don't believe you, but okay. And then I don't know. Is it claymation kind of people? Well, it's them, right? And it's showing them in their triumph and how they like changed everything and
trying to convince Mark S., who he said, oh, it was 5 months ago that happened, and there's reform now, and this video is now shown to like
you guys did
all the new hires. This is the quality of your video, by the way.
Yeah, what's wrong with you guys?
You have the ability to sever people's minds, but this is the level of like special effects for your videos.
It's interesting. We don't really know what time.
It's
it's funny too because like Mr. Milchek totally dresses like he's from. Well, I don't know, era 70s
like
maybe?
The 70s?
Yeah, so it's funny.
And then the computer screens are all way like around that time, like the very first computers ever.
Right.
So what year are we even in?
Yeah, now I'm questioning that too. Anyway, they show the little claymation people of them, the four of them. It shows like all the stuff they've done, and then like even shows Helly and Mark kissing. And Dylan's like, what?
Yeah.
Didn't see that coming. Yeah. Anyway, it basically makes them out to be heroes, and it's like, look at this change we have. You can now bob for pineapples, and there's funhouse mirrors. Like, It's the cheapest form of like entertainment.
Yeah.
It's almost insulting.
It is.
Like
That's why it's.
I don't want to do that.
It's so not unreal. It's unreal.
It's unreal, exactly.
Who would be like, oh yeah.
Oh, I want a bob
All
for
good
pineapples.
now.
No, okay. I know, you're right. We love this place. Anyways, but this is leading up to Mr. Milchick giving them the option by the end of day to stay or leave.
Supposedly. Right?
Yeah. So he's like, there's no cameras or microphones in here. Talk amongst yourselves. We don't believe
there
anything.
aren't.
There's absolutely, well, also, there had to be cameras and everything in there if the claymation people could reenact the things they said.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Oh,
Okay.
Yes.
So Mark's like, hey, you guys, I saw Miss Cobell there, like, because they're just kind of comparing notes. And he tells about Miss Casey.
Yes.
It's Helly's turn to talk about her experience. And she just says she wakes up in a boring apartment and there's a gardener. And I love how Irv was like, a night gardener? Now, why? What's your take on this?
Well,
Why is she not disclosing who she is?
because she isn't really Helly R, right? She's Helena.
Okay, so somebody commented saying that she is not even severed. Like, she just is.
It has never been.
I think that's what you said. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I didn't get that has never been. I thought it was based on the trailer. They were speculating that who we see.
Helena went in instead of.
Yes.
Okay.
So, but I kind of wonder, well, one, could it be purely Helena, or do they have like a unsevered, she has both Helly R's memories and Helena's memories now?
Yeah.
Because I feel like she has to be convincing, she would have to know enough of Helly R's experience. But why would Helly R, as we knew her, lie? Why would she? Yeah.
For a second, I was like, oh, maybe she doesn't want them to know because that's kind of like, maybe she's ashamed of it. But that doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah.
I think it's more like what you're saying.
More sinister. She's like an inside.
Helena's
she's like a spy
in there
now.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, because she is acting sus, which later on we'll talk about. But yeah, so she just flat out lies about her experience. Irv's pretty hesitant to tell them. You can tell he's got a lot of pain he's holding on to.
Yeah.
So he actually decides, I want to leave. I mean, that was his decision. He's like, I need to end this pain. Dylan, I just love their friendship. Like, what bromance? I mean, just how they started, how I feel like Irv was almost even annoyed by him. Now they're like little besties, right? He tells Dylan about the painting, and then Dylan's like, but I would be sad if you left. And this is my favorite. He said, Irv says to him, I'm your favorite perk. But what's so sweet is Dylan's like, don't bring them into this. Oh my God, I loved that. That was probably my favorite of the whole episode. Anyway, so cute. So anyway, as to create some kind of distraction, Mr. Milchick takes Dylan to look at a new perk. So it's a set of blueprints, so it hasn't happened yet. It promises family visitation with his kid and his wife. How convenient is that? Anyway.
I don't buy it.
He's just trying to pull him away from everybody, right?
Because what would they have to gain by offering that? It's not going to help anyone.
Because he knows he loves perks.
Yeah. But
He
he
knows he
also,
loves-
because he accidentally saw that he has a kid.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So then he's offering him what he thinks will be like the thing that'll keep him
Yes.
coming back to work. Or
Yes.
like happy at work.
Right. The incentive. Okay, yes. So elsewhere, Helly agrees to help Mark find Miss Casey. But what's interesting about Mark's decision to do that is like, I feel like I owe it to my Audi. And Helly's like, oh, I don't feel that way about my Audi. Like a little detached.
Yeah.
So that's where I went a little suspicious, like,
Yeah.
you're not really acting like the Helly we know.
Right.
Well, they kind of got close.
In a way, like Helly R, now that she knows that her Audi is an Egan, she would be resentful towards her because she sent her in there to suffer.
True. Yeah.
So that part was more consistent with the Helly R that I know, but it didn't match with. I still don't understand why she would lie.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Once she did that, I went, wait, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait, you're laying it on thick with the whole like, oh, who cares about her?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We could be totally wrong, by the way.
But there's got to be something.
Something's
obviously that her lying is obviously very, very important.
It can't be as simple as she's ashamed that she's an Egan.
No.
And doesn't want to tell her friends.
No, because that's too huge of information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, This episode ends with everybody back in their spots. Irv is not leaving. They've all decided, we're going to leave. We're going to figure this out together. We're going to get to the bottom of Lumen and its antics, right?
Yes. And Mark has shared that his wife was Miss Casey.
Yes.
So they're going to help him figure out this whole mystery,
Yes.
which is, I think, what this whole season is going to like
Thank goodness.
center upon.
Yes.
It's going to be torture
Oh,
watching
my
it week to week and see like
Oh,
what gets pieced together
I know.
little by little.
I
But
cannot wait.
I know.
So they're all at their desks, right? And they're all just kind of like, yeah, guys, we're doing it. The confidence is there. Everybody's feeling good. And then it goes to Mark, and he's scrolling and clicking and doing his thing. He clicks on a file named Cold Harbor. Okay, ominous. Don't know what that means. And he's guiding all those little batch of numbers, just feeling good. And then he puts it in a bin. And then the image starts fluttering on the frame. And we see the face
yes.
of Miss Casey. And there's vital signs. You guys, is he refining Gemma?
That's crazy.
Is that what he was always meant to do?
So this is all like coding type thing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And are the other three coding people or refining people?
And did he see that, or was that just for us to see?
Well, yeah, because that is confusing because he kind of, after that, it flutters to his eyes, but then it's done.
Yeah.
It's black. You know, credits roll.
Yeah, so I was thinking he doesn't see that. It's like for us, foreshadowing for us to kind of speculate to
Okay.
what's going on. Because I just feel like, first of all, those computers can't show that. Those computers are just very basic, like text.
True.
Right? So I think that was
Just for us.
for our benefit.
I really need to get to the bottom of Cold Harbor. What, is that like the name of the city he lives in? I don't know anything. Here I am. Anyway, how did you feel about this episode overall? Like coming back after 3 years.
You know, the first, I don't know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I wasn't that satisfied.
Same.
I was like, no. Well, first of all, I needed my people.
Yes,
So
that's why.
probably just like
didn't
Mark.
feel the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then once it kind of started picking up and they started showing up, I was like, okay.
Everything's
I'm
gonna be
here.
okay.
Yes. And then once they started talking, and then once Helly R lied, I was like, oh, what's going on here? And then I was like, I was back in it.
It's finally back. I'm so happy.
Oh my gosh. But I just want to savor it. I just don't want to rush it. I
Yeah,
just want to like
yeah.
make it like last.
Yes. I don't know. Did we see how many episodes there are this season? I don't know if they revealed
I
it,
did
but
not.
I wonder because it was like a random 9 episodes
Yeah.
last time, which is fine because I'm glad they weren't trying to give us just extra episodes to make it 10.
Yes.
So anyway, starting off with a bang. I'm really excited about it. So everybody, please follow along and watch our reviews weekly, and then let us know how you're feeling about the season so far. Please comment below and like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you next week. Thank you. Bye, everybody.